Today is a new day. It's actually the new day of the month. So you know what that means, guys?
Money.
April Fools.
Cha-ching! Today's the fourth month of your employment, so that means payday.
Yay!
Each character gets 300 gold for 30 days of service, and 2 Cure Serious level 5 potions. Normally, at the beginning of the month, you guys would be given 3 to 4 potions, but because of resource issues with the gnomes, being so busy analyzing CRUD, there hasn't been as many at hand to make potions for the troops. So instead of the normal 3 to 4, you guys only get 2. Sorry about that. Because the sick are needed to double heal or heal their wounded ones that have corruption, it takes twice as many healing spells. That's sort of exhausting them, so the potions are basically used more and they're in higher demand. On your character sheets, write that down: 300 gold and 2 Cure Serious potions.
Oh, so they didn't analyze that stuff yet? I'm still sick?
You guys are still sick and they're still analyzing. Today is the day after you guys came back from 2 Torturdum, so it's not like some time has gone by. This is just the next day. Duncan would have liked for the team to have more rest since coming back from the Temple of Morgion. However, due to a shortage of manpower, you were assigned wall duty the following day from your return, so that's going to be today. You survey the wall, and the general attitude has shifted towards desolation and depression. Around 25% of the defending forces has acquired the CRUD cough, as they call it. Dwarves and defenders alike show signs of despair as they slump to exhaustion from coughing fits and poor health. Bandages, slings, missing limbs are more common nowadays due to the corruptive penalties of CRUD. Incidentally, almost everyone in the party has also fallen to the sickness, all except Naam. Whether by divine protection or great fortitude, you're not sure, but Naam remains pure as of now. The dwarves,
As of now, what the heck,
as
dude?
of now, the dwarves try to hide the sickness and put on a stoic face, but the general morale has declined drastically, coinciding with the decline of manpower. This mirrors also the general weather around Torturdum. The seasons are changing towards autumn. Gray skies and heavy overcasts dampen the mood of everyone as a bone-chill wind cuts through the party stationed at the wall.
More fire.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting really cold out here.
It's getting a little cold. So the seasons are changing, a little more colors being shown outside. It's becoming a little more drab. It's a little more colder as you guys are in Torturdum. And the winter is going to get particularly very cold because you guys are in the mountains, or at least Torturdum's in the mountains right now. So as you're standing there on the wall doing your daily duty, a small gnome approaches the party. And he's like, "Good day.
Hello,
Are
mate.
you?" "Hello, mate. You must be Duncan's men, right?
Oh, yes, we are.
I've been sent here to bring you to the throne room. They've been asking about you. I just found you here right now, so let's go on and go."
Okay.
So, as you guys are walking down, he's taking you to the throne room, and you guys know generally where the throne room is, but the gnome's deciding to lead you guys, and you guys are like, okay, well, we'll just roll with it. But he seems to be sort of taking his time, not really like in a big effort to get anywhere quickly. And as you guys are going along, Gnome actually stops, and he stops to stare at a majestic beauty, and he's like, "Oh, look at the beauty of this, the work, the craftsmanship." And he points to this sort of like derelict resemblance of a statue leaning against the wall, and it's sort of dusted, it has rust on it, and he's like, "Hey, here's a fine specimen. I worked on it myself. Oh, look at this rust." And he gets really offended by it. He starts pulling out like a cloth, and he's like wiping away. He's like, "I was one of the privileged to retrofit these excavation units into guarding sentries earlier. I reprogrammed the pneumatic drill into a deadly thrusting lance. Such a proud moment. But alas, they all lay still because we lost control unit in battle. If only there was a way to retrieve it, we'd have these little guys all over the place." And he's gently wiping and he's dusting off this sentry unit, as he calls it.
And how would you need control over these?
There's a control box that we had. We only unfortunately made one, so once we lost it, we've sort of lost control over all of these. And you notice that these statues are littered around Torturdum. Some of them are standing erect, some of them are resting against a wall, like because they toppled over. Some are being pulled on carts going to a storage facility in Tordurdum. So they're sort of placed around Tordurdum, and actually on the wasteland you guys have encountered a few of these, sort of like half buried in the dust when you guys were traveling outside of Tordurdum. So these are basically, they used to aid the dwarves in their drilling and their mining and excavation, but during the Great War they sort of retrofit them to be guardians and sentries, and they actually use them in battle. And the gnome, as you guys are walking to the throne room, the gnome's like, unfortunately we had all of these guardians attuned to the same crystal, and once that crystal was lost in the control box, they all shut down. And so he's sort of giving you a little more history about how they were used in the Great War and how pretty effective they were.
Well, why did you lose this crystal?
There's a main battle, and we lost a few gnomes in battle, and we lost all of our sentries just shut down at once. And he doesn't know the exact location because this was like 300 years ago. But there were reports of like the final battles that were being lost and being taken over by the enemy, and this was one of them where they actually lost the control unit.
Well, you don't happen to have a map of that area, do you?
I could dig around, see if we have any first-hand accounts of where it might be.
Oh, I'd greatly appreciate that.
Okay, so he'll do a little more research, but he takes especially pride in some of them because they were his own. He sort of retrofitted them or adapted them to battle scenarios.
Yeah.
So he brings you to the throne room. As you stand before the throne room, and the gnome leaves you and your party, and he says, "By the way, I'm Gizmo. We'll probably talk more later on, especially with you." And he points to Grin because you seem pretty interested in this technology or the age of the defeat that they had.
You got it, Gizmo. I will see you soon.
Don't feed him at night.
Not that Gizmo.
Don't drop them in water. Yeah.
So the doors open up, and the guards open up the doors, and you guys walk into the throne room, and you sort of feel out of place. Like this area right now is alien to you. And the reason being is because not too many non-dwarves have ever had the honor of coming in the presence of the king in the throne room. So this is a pretty big thing for you guys. Dwarven artifacts and relics of lore surround the Great Hall. Think of like, I was trying to give an analogy. The analogy I could think of was Kung Fu Panda, and he goes into that hall, and there's all these like, oh, the sword of 1,000, whatever, and like he picks up the sword and all those voices in the vase and stuff like that. Sort of that. You see on the wall are relics and lore from battle usually that surround this great hall. Most of the weapons are from vanquished enemies as trophies and histories of the Dwarven race.
This is the clan hold.
For instance, one of them that you look by is a dragon scale and a dragon tooth. These are like honored amongst the dwarves because this is in remembrance of a dragon that they took down during a battle. You're not sure which one. There's no one to tell you right now, but you just know that that's a tooth and a scale, and you're like, that has to be from a dragon. The next one you see is an axe, and you look at the design and the etching, and Malachi recognizes it as an orcish axe, one of his kin or half-kin. And you might even, Malachi might even know the story of Orcs, the Destroyer. And this was his axe that he wielded in battle. And once he was defeated, the dwarves mounted as a trophy in their throne room.
Malachi scorns and looks at as he looks at the axe.
Not a favorite of orcs, are you?
He's not fond of purebloods.
Okay, noted. Another one that you see is a crown, a sword, and a shield. And these are symbolic of the Trinity, which is a group of paladins that reside in the Holy Citadel. And these are like a gift to the dwarves of sort of their treaty and sort of their bonds that they have together.
Paladins.
Who doesn't like paladins? And then the next one you see is a little bit out of place. And you guys pause for a second because it's a dark robe. And the previous ones were like martial weapons of great like exhibits of great artifacts, but this is just like a dingy old dark robe, and you see it out of place. And underneath it you see two gnomes sort of taking notes as they're looking at the cloth and writing stuff down in a ledger. But as you come in, you notice that there's already a conversation taking place. You guys are late. You guys were being retrieved to this meeting, but because of Gizmo, You guys were sort of meandering down the halls. He was giving some history and lore, and all of a sudden, lo and behold, you guys are late. So this conversation is sort of taking place as you guys enter. And you hear Duncan and the king. The king is... What is the name there? I can't read it. Thor.
Roar.
Yeah, Thor. Thor the king. And Duncan. And as most of the party knows, Duncan is actually the son of the king. The way they're talking right now is like a king and his subordinate. So he's not father or anything. There's no fatherly love in this conversation that you can tell. But as you're coming upon this conversation, you hear Duncan say, "I send the messengers to the Holy City. As warden of the wall, my time is needed to defend Tordurdum, especially since we are pressed on manpower. I cannot afford to let anyone go on this trivial task." And the king says, "It's not just anyone I am sending. I am sending you as our voice. We need more aid, and you have seen it firsthand. You can relay this message more clear than anyone else here can. You also have champions that have witnessed the enemy's scheme firsthand. Their testimony will put us at an advantage, for we petition for more manpower. This is my voice, and my word is law." And you hear Duncan say, "But father," he's like, "I am the king, and you shall address me as such. We have nothing further to discuss." And Duncan's like, "Yes, sire," as he leaves the throne room, and he storms out of there, and he motions for you guys to follow him.
I follow.
You follow.
We're going.
Yep. So, as a summary of what occurred, because you guys were sort of late, is that the king wants Duncan and you guys to go to the Holy City. And you guys know that it's not a quick ride. It's about 4 days. The Holy City is for clerics. Well, it's sort of like the capital. It's where the king resides, and they call it the Holy City because the high cleric, the high priest is there also, along with this holy order of paladins.
Oh, great. My background gets to come into play.
The Dwarven defense is low on manpower, mainly because of CRUD, as we've been seeing. And the CRUD is a degenerative affliction that is weakening the defenders. So the king wants to send a voice, which will be Duncan and you guys, to represent the dwarves in the Holy City, to petition for aid, manpower, and also investigation into CRUD by the Holy Order. So he wants like the paladins and the clerics there to sort of get involved in sort of researching and figuring out what this compound is. And as I said, it's a 4 days hard ride to the Holy Citadel. So Duncan tells you guys, that early light next day, you guys are going to go on a little journey, and that you guys will be accompanying him as his personal guards. So he's sort of taken a liking to you guys. You guys have spent 4 months together, and he's sort of consider you guys like friends, and also like his personal guards.
Bodyguards, yeah.
Personal retainer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've no problem with that, Duncan.
He pays you well. Duncan does pay well.
Yeah, especially with the cure wound.
You guys are all coughing. Cool. Now, this is an area map. So this is the next day. You guys wake up, and early in the morning, you guys take your mounts in an underground tunnel.
I think only Nahum and I have mounts.
The dwarves are going to give the others mounts, especially like they have ponies for Flynn, and everyone else will get horses.
I don't need one. I've got my phantasmal steed, right?
If you want, even more power.
It's one of my spells.
Awesome.
I'm riding my war bison.
Your war bison, gotcha. But for right now, yeah, you guys are leading through this tunnel. This tunnel is a huge like maintenance tunnel, so basically you guys could all fit pretty easily. And to cut down on time, they're not gonna go over on the windy passes that go through the mountains. They're gonna rip right through the tunnel, and it's gonna bring you near the town of Meliu, he says. And as I said, it's autumn time, and as you exit the tunnel near the town of Meliu, it's all the way to the forest area. Do you see?
Yes.
The doors open up, and you guys are greeted by like a plethora of colors. You're looking at this vast valley floor, and it's autumn time. There's gold, there's red, there's magenta. The leaves are starting to turn, and it's a stark contrast from the dark and drab, monochromatic earthen colors of
Oh,
Tordurdum.
how I missed this. It's been underground for too long.
Especially Solo, too, because Solo's an elf, and they don't like it where, I don't know if you have any aversions to underground, but this is definitely where you feel more at home.
Yes.
So you guys are coming to this valley, and you're starting to get hit on the main trail, and this is like the King's Road that will lead to the Holy City. A lot of these roads will lead to the go central to the Holy City, and it's going to take about 4 days. So you guys are coming through. The mountain pass itself took about half the day, so it's becoming high noon, late afternoon as you guys are riding, and you guys are coming to the farming community outside of Meliu. Meliu is a small community and is surrounded by these satellite or small farming communities. As you enter one of the small farming communities, you hear a shout out ahead as you venture forth.
Oh, by the way, about with the bullet armor, it actually turns out that it's really rare.
So he's getting etchings into this armor of like historical battles. These are what dwarves normally do with their own heirloom armor, is they etch out important things that have happened. So sort of a reminder, a legacy. So he has in it etched out the Battle of the Bullet. And coming upon this field, there's a Y split in the road. And as you can see, there's a bunch of farmers. And they sort of blockaded.
Jeez.
Wait, what'd you say?
Nothing. Nothing.
Kill them?
Just ignore them.
Free XP!
I cast silence on the half-orc.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
What's your
Thanks.
alignment again?
Well, I can be anything now.
So as you come upon, you see these farmers and seem to have blocked the King's Road with a makeshift barricade. This ragtag bunch tries to block your attempt to pass. They wield crude farm tools as makeshift weapons, as you can see in this picture. And you see this gruff farmer. He says, "Hey, looky here. More peas in a pod. Y'all come down from them hills, I gander."
Maybe we did, maybe we didn't. Who's asking?
Being a little skeptical. Good.
So Malachi goes, "Who are you to block the King's Road?"
He's like, you must be wondering why we were standing here in the road. Well, we be asking for donations here."
Oh.
Oh boy.
He's looking at the party and he counts. And you see him using his fingers. And also you see his lips moving. As he's like trying to count you guys. And he's like, I reckon you have about 10 horses. So that'd be about 10 gold per horse. That's about, and he looks at the eyes, 10 gold per horse. And you guys wait a little while. He's like, as he's doing the math, like, 100 gold. Seems about right, yeah. And he seems proud of himself that he did that math in his head. 100 gold to pass, you see? For donation.
So Malachi basically, like, on his war bison, basically scoffs and says, "You're not serious. Get out of here."
And Duncan,
intimidate check. If
okay.
I need to.
Go and roll that in map tools. Duncan's like, preposterous. He's like sort of offended by this too. You guys know that the King's Road is like a free road. For anyone to do this, it's sort of like they're unwarranted.
While he's doing that, I'll cast Glibness.
Glibness is... Can you define that?
It's plus 20 to my bluff checks.
Okay. He takes it back as a bison just like rears forward a little bit. He's like, "Whoa there, easy there." He's like, not to startle you, but you guys gotta look at it from our point. Your horses and that bison of yours, he's gonna eat and poop in our lands. Farming's been tough this year, and you know, you might need some protection going through our lands. It ain't bad if something could happen to you guys, right? So he's sort of giving you explanation that, you know, your mounts are going to be eating through his fields and, you know, crapping and whatnot. And he doesn't want to do this for free, so he's just asking for 100 gold, which you guys feel is a little...
for fertilizer.
fertilizer. That bison could plant the whole field.
So Malachi roars in laughter. It's like, "You've got to be kidding me."
Okay.
And I interject. I say, "Hey, don't you remember we paid you the other day? We've already came through."
Okay, go ahead, roll the bluff. So also, to put it in your terms, 10 gold for each person is about a day's worth of wages. So he's asking for like a day's worth of wages from you. Which
wages?
is a bit much.
That's like a week's worth, isn't it?
I know. I thought
No, because you guys got 300 gold for 30 days of service, so it's 10 gold.
He doesn't know that.
Well, for us, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
that's
He's
like
like,
risk our lives every day.
Dang, Flynn, what's up with that?
he's like, yeah, his spell glibness. As soon as you cast him, he starts rearing back. It's like they're a little apprehensive for you, and you see their archers behind him, and they sort of, you know, they see the lead guy come through, and they start like, you know, cocking their bows, and like they're looking a little in anticipation. It's like, and you see the farmer. He's like, hey, I need some yokel here. My ancestors, 5 generations back, he was a general in the Great War. And he points to his sword on his belt, like, this sword here is a relic of that. It's an artifact, and he's given it to me. And you look, and it's like a rusted sword. It hasn't been maintained in those 300 years, so it looks pretty bad.
I say, hey, my grandfather was in that war too.
Actually, Bryn's too. Everyone's.
Yes.
How about counter negotiating?
This land belongs to
I
us.
think I was still alive then, and I saw that war.
They're just watching. It's isn't it money just to watch the horses?
I'm
Well,
sure.
because it's in order to pass. Because in his lands, he believes that you guys are gonna muck up his farm and this
Right.
and that, and also to protect you guys in case anything bad happens. Nothing bad will happen when you're going through his lands.
You do realize that we could negotiate this a little better, right?
Or who are you talking to? Him or the party?
I'm talking to him.
Okay.
I'm going to use diplomacy if I can. Try
Okay,
to
so
talk him down in price.
So Flynn used bluff. Go ahead and roll your diplomacy. And Flynn, what was your bluff again?
40.
Oh no, what were you saying to him?
Oh, I was saying we already paid.
Yeah.
It's like, you came here yesterday? Well, this here toll is every day. I don't see how you can get around that. So he's not
Nah.
calling that because if you went yesterday, you paid, but you got to pay more today. It's like
That's not what you told us yesterday.
that's what the bluff should have been. So how are you trying to put the situation, Bryn?
Well, you do realize that if we're going to use your roads, someone's going to accompany us through it, aren't you?
My pleasure. I'll be happy to oblige you through my lands. I could even give you a little tour.
And you do realize who I am, right?
Who might you be?
And I'm Bryn Rory of House Rory.
House Rory. Isn't that on the east side? And he's like pointing,
Yes,
but he's
it
pointing
is.
north. It's like, I've heard of you. Yeah, your father. He's come through here a few times.
I'll bet he has. I'm sure we could use the gods, but do we really need to pay 10 gold? I mean, he does support you in a lot of things,
These aren't
Okay.
the joys you're looking for. other
So
words.
as you guys are stating that, this while you guys are discussing this with this sort of brigade bandit group right here, you guys are sort of winning them over, and you see the archers. They start unknocking their arrows, and they're sort of listening to sort of your intonation and to the feel, and they're starting to not feel as aggressive as what you're experiencing. But as you're doing this, there's this young girl sobbing, running down the road towards you guys from the southwest or east, southeast. Yeah.
Okay.
Got
Do
it.
you see her coming up on the map?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, and oop, there she is. She runs up to right about here,
Okay.
and
And she attacks.
It turns into a dragon.
so a small girl's running up, and he's like, the lead farmer turns like, what are you doing here? An exclamation, and she's like, I lost my doggy. We were playing in the forest, and he was running off. I chased him, and I got scared, so I ran back. And she's like crying, and the farmer's like, dag nabbit, you know you're not supposed to be playing in them forest. Looky here, orphan, we have no time for you. But my dog. And she's like crying. He's like, I reckon we don't have time for you, missy. We have fields that need tilling, cows that needs milking, and people need protecting. And he glances at you guys. Wait a minute. And you see like the gears churn in his head. He's like, 2 of them birds with the stone. How's about you guys helping us with this here problem? And we'll only ask about 20 gold in a donation. He's lowering the price amount, but he's asking for you guys to help out this girl. Because obviously he's too busy maintaining this road.
I'll tell you what. We'll do it for 10 gold.
10
That's it. Final offer.
gold.
How about we do it for no gold, we hopper?
No. Well, look at these guys. Look at the field.
Yeah, you guys looking at this group, and you are a little have some pity on them because they're pretty dressed pretty badly, And you look at their fields, and it's the harvest season. They're doing like the late harvest, and it does seem like they are a little malnourished.
Well,
Up to you guys how you want to proceed.
Well, sir, what is the pleasure? I don't have the pleasure of your name, sir.
He's like, me? I'm Gregor.
Well, Gregor, I'll go ahead and pay it out of my own pockets.
Duncan's growing impatient. Also, like, fine out. Just hurry up. We need to be on the road. No talking to strangers. So he wants you guys. We want to start moving. But so you guys are gonna pay. And you guys gonna help out the girl, right?
Well, I'll pay personally if I have to.
Okay.
Well, I am.
20 gold for total or each?
20 gold total. So we went down from 100 total to 20.
Here you go, sir. I whip out my bag, and then I start counting out.
Well, he's like, before you pay, he's like, you're gonna help this girl, right?
Well,
and
which would you prefer us to do? Do you want us to help? Do you want us to pay first?
Well, I want you to help first. I got this road to watch. I can't be sitting here babysitting the girl.
Well, how about we help the girl first, pay you later, but if we don't see you, how are you going to get your change?
He's like, yeah.
Guys, hold up.
Okay. He's like, yeah. You're right about that. You're a pretty smart man you are. It's like, how do I know you just won't be running off? He's like, wait.
That's correct.
I'll tell you what. We'll keep some of your men here, and then once the deed is done, you guys will be on your way, and you can pay us, right?
Good job.
Unfortunately, we're going to need all the men. How about if we pay now and then we go later?
No, but you might just skip out and not help this little girl here.
Well, I'm not going to skip out to the girl.
I say no, we won't.
He's like, I feel better if you left some of your men here. And he's like, why don't you leave them dirty beards here with me? And the rest of you can come back and pay once you guys are done with this. And Callan's like, dirty beards? Why, you? We sit and guard here your lands from the east, and you insult us? Getting off his horse, and Duncan's like, Callan, at ease. We will comply. And he turns to the group and says, go lads, help out the little lass, and be quick about it. We want to be traveling before we lose more light.
No problem, Duncan. We'll take care of it.
Okay. So you guys have agreed to help out the girl. The dwarves are going to stay here, and you guys can come back and pay the fee.
Correct.
Okay.
Pay the fee.
So this little girl starts running back towards the forest, and you guys dismount for those that you want to, and you start you start following her into this autumn forest. Now this is autumn, so it's like gray overcast clouds. It's getting a little misty because it's late noon, and you guys are in this foresty area, and she's going through this forest, and she's like scampering over logs and roots, as you go through this lush autumn forest. This place smells of musty, as if autumn rains has just passed on by. And the vines and overgrowth, along with the fallen branches and flora, litter this forest. You find it difficult to keep up with a nimble child scampering over a dense jungle of a forest. And to give you guys an example, like, I did like Half Dome, and we had like hiking boots, half day, full day backpacks, walking sticks, all this stuff. And we were like climbing up this mountain, and we were doing like 2 miles an hour because of all this equipment we had, and we were older and stuff like that. And then these kids, like 5-year-olds with just like a stick, were like hopping on the boulders, jumping around, climbing up, and we're like, where do you guys get the energy? But they don't have any backpacks. Their parents were carrying all this stuff. And so that's what this scenario is like. This child is just like, you guys are having a hard time keeping up with her because she's just scampering off, and it looks like she's used to this forest, like, because she's an orphan and she plays around here.
Little one, don't leave us behind.
She's like, and she's like crying, and she's slowing down a little bit, but you guys are still trying to keep up with her. And you've been, running through this jungle about, 5-10 minutes on, getting a good like mile to 2 mile into the jungle, and you can see it's very lush. There's a lot of fungus, so there's a lot of brush, and it's just a lot overrun, and you guys are having a difficult time. Everyone in here is pretty much moving at half speed because of just the difficult nature of the terrain. There's roots that you can't even see that are peeking underneath these leaves. There's branches that are wisping you in the face as you're going on by, and there's a pretty good foliage everywhere, and it's just beautiful. You guys are just experiencing these autumn colors, and this, like I said, is a stark comparison from these drab dwarven mines. And all of a sudden, in the distance, the girl suddenly stops, and she starts walking off the path.
Uh-oh.
If you can even call it a path, because it's just like this little road that you guys have been going on. And she heads towards an old tree stump. Roll either a perception, survival, or knowledge, whichever you're the strongest in. perception, survival, or knowledge nature. Sorry.
I was scribing a scroll. I wasn't really
Oh my
paying
gosh.
attention, apparently.
Okay. Solo with his keen ears hears some stuff happening in the forest. Maybe it's because he's near the back. Maybe something else. But you hear, and this noise you heard was that Solo heard was right around here in the back.
Hey, I heard it too. 26.
Barely.
What? A 26? Dang it.
Yeah.
You heard birds moving.
Yes.
Dang.
Same as
dude.
me.
Solo, are you gonna tell us?
Yep, I'm gonna let you guys know. It's over right here and over here, guys.
You heard,
That you heard a thing?
Hey, Name, how come you're all the way back there, dude?
Where is he, man?
I didn't know. I thought Andy was moving
Oh,
us.
there he is.
No.
I wasn't paying attention, apparently.
You can move yourself.
Oh.
The girl starts moving towards this old log, and you see that
doggy.
doggy. There's a little doggy on the tree stump, and she's starting to walk towards it, and then you see her say, "Oh no!" and she cries out that, "Oh no! Doggy has an ow!" And you see this little tiny dog resting on top of this old tree stump, and you see the head limply move up and the tail barely wag as she gets close.
Oh no.
She runs to a nearby tree and starts crying and leaning against it, sobbing. So she was coming up over here, and then she comes to this tree and she's like crying against it.
I'm gonna follow the girl. But why is she trying against the tree, not towards the dog?
Well, because she's expecting one of you guys to come over and help her out, or like she's like leaning against this tree. Actually, probably the closer one.
Guys,
Crying.
I'm gonna do
check out the sound.
I'm doing sense motive, and
Check out the.
I told Flynn to go check it out.
Yeah.
I will roll for sense ominous sound.
Should I go follow the sound?
What
Yeah,
kind of
the two
sound?
guys.
I don't. It's
Ominous
rustling.
background sound.
Yeah, can't you tell? Can't you hear it?
You heard a little bit back then, but you don't hear any more of it. So is it who's gonna investigate?
You guys want me to go?
Our rangers.
Yeah, I
Flynn-
know, right?
So I'm going.
How
Yep.
about people that move silently?
The two of you guys, say Flynn and Solo.
Oh,
Malachi goes, you guys check it out.
Oh wait, so Solo's gonna do the noise? Okay.
I'll go too. I've got the ease of movement.
Okay,
Tell
so go ahead.
Brent, I tell Brent to stick with me.
Stay with, yeah, and I'll watch over the girl.
stick
Okay.
with you. I'll be over here.
So can Flynn and Solo roll a perception, knowledge, or knowledge, nature, or survival, whatever is the best.
So with knowledge,
Oh
can I
man.
do my bard stuff and take a 20?
Jeez.
Oh, you know
No, not in this, because 20 is when you have no time to fail. Like you have all the time in the world.
I think
I'll
I
be
can
right
do it once per day, though.
I'll be
Oh,
right back.
Bard.
okay.
Boom.
You hear a more rustling coming from your general area, and it seems to be close by you. And you hear that
Oh, I forgot cringers. Ouch.
Okay.
Never mind.
with some mods. It's probably like that's an average roll. So as you guys are getting closer, you hear the girl saying, "Will someone please help my doggy?" And she starts coming back to the doggy, and she's like, "I don't have anything to help him with." So she's crying, and then you see Flynn and Solo. They're coming along, and you hear more of the leaves just scuffling and shivering. Yeah, that's all you guys hear for now.
Malachi starts getting a little suspicious. There's a sense motive. I want to do sense motive check.
Okay.
Like back in the caverns.
It's like, this is not. I'm not getting a warm and fuzzy on this. Oh my goodness. That was a
You
horrible
feel
roll.
as if she's genuine.
Okay.
The tears are streaming down her face, and they're leaving like these little dirt stains as she's just sobbing.
Okay, I'm like, all right. Well, she needs help.
But you can't heal her, can you? Oh, you could give a potion, I guess.
Dog looks like it's dying.
It's on top of this stump, and it's just barely like it seems weakened. It can't move its head too high. And as she got close to it, you see like the tail wag as in recognizing her. But then like the head barely went up and then just rested back on the log. And yeah, he seems to be hurt. Also, you
Okay, well, that's
For-
walk up.
Malachi, you smell a strong smell of citrus, and it permeates this area, this forest area, and it's along with the musky, wet smell of the forest.
Oh,
I look
great.
around. I actually look for citrus.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a perception.
Where's that smell coming from?
You do know it's getting stronger, but you don't know where. You're like, looking up in the air, and you're like, you guys smell that? And as you come up to the stump, you realize that the puppy there has been dead for some time.
Oh no!
Like a couple days, like 3 or 4 days, in fact. It's like decayed. And you notice that the citrus scent there was just to mask the decaying odor. You notice these small little tendrils from this stump, and they're sort of wrapped around the dead puppy, sort of wiggling it, trying to make it look like it has life. But it's too late for you because the trap is sprung.
Dun dun dun.
But all of a sudden, you see these 2 vines just shoot out from the stump, and all of a sudden, the ends, they have these like buds, and they sort of wave in the air, and all of a sudden they just flower and bloom, and they open suddenly, exposing these 2 eye stalks.
Oh, okay. I know
The tree trunk almost has like a giddy joy as you got close, and it starts swaying left and right, hopping around, and all of a sudden you hear like these tendrils just whip around as you see these wisps all around it start wisping in the air for whatever's nearby.
It's Bulbasaur.
And you see a huge maw just come from an unnoticeable slit earlier, becomes this huge maw with sharp teeth opened wide. This is what you guys see.
Wow, I haven't seen one of those since second edition D&D.
I did not know they're in second edition. I thought they were like only in this edition. I'm like, man, that's pretty cool. I haven't seen that before. I'm like, it must be Pathfinder only. But apparently it's in other editions, so I didn't know
Monster Manual 2.
that. Wow. Pretty good.
Please join us next time as we journey through the world of Astar.